let's make a moss pole. To make our moss pole, you're going to need sphagnum moss, zip ties, wire cutters, and something to hold the moss. I personally use this wire mesh from Lowe's, but if you're looking for something all in one spot, I do have an alternative linked in my Amazon storefront. Sphagnum moss is going to come completely dry, so the first step is to always rehydrate it. I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes so that it completely absorbs. In general, I would say that my moss poles use about half a bag of this orchid moss. I make my moss poles in 2.5 inches in diameter, which equals 7.5 inches in length. If you're using a 1 centimeter grid like I am, it's 15 squares down. Using my wire cutters, I'm just snipping this all the way down. I have been asked before if this rusts over time. It may. I've not had it happen to me yet, but from my research, rust itself is not going to hurt the plant, so I'm not too worried about it. Once you have your piece, I just roughly shape it into a half moon shape so that we can start filling it with moss. When I'm filling my moss pole, I'm going to wring out the moss completely so that it is not dripping wet. It should be something like this where you can squeeze it, but no water is coming out. Now to fill the pole. My moss pole is completely filled, but I always leave a section open at the end. This is so that there is no moss sitting in the soil itself. If there is moss that's getting wet in the soil, it can make your soil too damp too often, which can lead to root rot and eventually the death of your plant. If you take away one tip from this video, let it be this. Now I'm going to zip tie this pole closed, starting in the middle and working down each side. My last steps are to snip the ends off the zip ties and to shape the pole itself. Now, because I use wire mesh, I do use a towel over top to shape it just because there can be some parts of it that are a little pokey and can hurt your hands. So this part is honestly just for aesthetic purposes so that it looks good for me in the pot. And that's all there is to it. Happy growing!